Hi, potato fries. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another episode of Reddit Reactions. In this video, I'm going to take a look at dating advice because I haven't looked at that in a little while. We've done a few advice, just advice and relationship advice, but the dating advice one, let's take a little look at this today. The first one we have, this person wants advice on response to a text. Need your best response to this text. I'm in the talking phase with this guy over text and it's been going well. I jokingly said, stay out of trouble since he's flying back home for Christmas. And he said, staying out of trouble is my middle name. It's John Good Behaviour Smith. Name has obviously been changed. What's your best flirty, bantery response? Nothing overtly sexual, please. Try and keep it classy. Oh, okay, this is a lot less meaty than I thought it would be. I mean, talk in the talking phase with this guy, have you been doing the flirty or not? Because, I mean, I don't necessarily get vibes of flirty, like saying stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble is my middle name. That kind of, to me, it's giving the sort of impression of yeah, I never get myself in trouble, I'm a good boy type of thing, I'm clean. Whereas if they were being flirty, maybe they would say oh, I think that's going to be difficult, or yeah, I'll save my bad behaviour for when I get back, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I think I'd be oh my. But staying out of trouble is my middle name. What's your best flirty banter response? Maybe something well, maybe that'll change once we start hanging out a bit more. You know, that's not overtly sexual. It's a suggestion of change, a suggestion of space, and it also implies that you're going to hang out. What do you think? Yeah, oh, maybe that'll change once you start hanging out a bit more. What are some of the comments said? I'm interested to see what other people think is a flirty, bantery, classy response. Let's see. Well, when you're tired of being good, you know where to find me. Yeah, that's not a bad one at all. Not a bad one at all. What's this? That's a horrible middle name. What if you post your reasons and suggest to you what the text is? Yeah. Santa will be pleased. Nah, that's not very flirty to me. I don't like that one. Well, if you ever decide to break the rules, just know I've got your back for bail money, of course. I don't know. Do you know what annoys me on dating apps when people say they're looking for a partner in crime? I just feel that's so cliche and boring and just blah. So many people put stuff like that. So maybe in that context, this is seen as a flirty way, partner in crime, bailing out of jail. But to me, that's not hot. It doesn't say to me flirty personally. But yeah, anyway, what's the next one? How do I ask out a cute retail worker? So OP's a female and said, I go to my favourite store every couple of months and this really cute guy works there. He somehow still recognised me even when I hadn't gone to the store for a while. Last time I was there, which was about a month ago, I asked for his name, but I'm not sure where to go from here. I'd really like to get to know him, but I don't know how to go about communicating that. I also don't want to get him in trouble at work, and he usually works the night shift, so there's always traffic in the store when he's working. What do I do? Do I just straight up ask for his Instagram or his number? Do I try to have some small talk with him first, or try to joke around with him? Do I just give up on it? So is it literally just you've seen him there a couple of times and you've never actually talked to him? You said he somehow still recognized you. How do you know that? Was it oh, how's that whatever product you bought last time working out for you, or oh, nice to see you again, or what is it he actually said? For me, it's I think you need to respect that someone is at work when they're at work and not get in their way or make them feel uncomfortable and stuff like that, especially if, let's be honest, women are more likely to get hit on in the workplace. It's true, right? Especially in that situation where maybe if you're a woman and you work in a bar and people are being creepy to you all the time and stuff like that, you're always having to put up with nasty, creepy customers. But in this case, it's a retail job, it's a guy. OP's wondering how to approach it, but they usually work at night where there's a lot of traffic in the store. So again, you don't want to get in this person's way while they're working. I would say Next time you go into the store, maybe see if he comes over to you and sparks up a conversation, and then say, hey, looks like you're going to be really busy tonight. I don't want to bother you, but maybe we can hang out sometime, and then see what he says, you know? Like maybe be like, oh yeah, I'm pretty busy at the moment. Yeah, I need to, you know, deal with these customers or whatever. Or maybe he says like, yeah, sure, let me give you my number or my Instagram handle, whatever it may be. But I think that's a good way to sort of acknowledge that he's busy and you don't want to take up too much of his time right now, that you would like to spend time with him in future. Okay? What do you think? I mean, obviously, I think that's good advice. It's casual, you know, and like it's also not trying to get into like flirting when that might be like really awkward for him. Again, when he's at work, you don't want to get him into trouble. You don't want, you know, him to just be spending the time with you in a like personal context instead of a work context. So that is what I would recommend to you, my dear. Yeah. I was just trying to decide if I want to read some of the comments, but yeah, nah, I won't bother. Next one. How to deal with a woman I'm not dating accusing me of flirting with other women. A restraining order may be in order. Let's see. So I met this girl at work about 2 months ago and we started talking. She's into me and I am into her. Okay, interesting. We've decided to take things slow, so the most we've done is kiss. We both work at a prison as correctional officers, so we have to deal with other co-workers as it's literally part of the job, as it is in most jobs dealing with co-workers. I might have to speak to a female co-worker regarding an regarding an inmate or vice versa. I might have to defend a female co-worker from an inmate. Me and this girl I'm seeing haven't had sex and we're not in a relationship yet. Today she accused me of flirting with another co-worker and got mad at me and started talking to her friend at work about how I was staring at another co-worker and how we were talking back and forth. It's driving me mad because I wasn't even flirting. I made it clear to this woman that at the end of the day, these other women are co-workers and one day they might have to save my ass from an altercation with an inmate, so it's childish to get upset at me for speaking with them. She's also 21 and I'm 26. How to deal with this woman? How to deal with her is just to break it off, quite frankly, because you're not even dating. You're taking things slow, and in the workplace, it's like every woman you talk to, like you're flirting with them. I would not be down for that at all. I to be honest, would be completely put off by that behaviour. Like even if I was into her before, I'd be like, nah, I'm not anymore. Because like even if you're in a relationship with that person, even if you are dating them, like I can't be with a person who like is not okay with me talking to other people. Do you know what I mean? Is trying to dictate who I can interact with. That's not cool. And especially if it's like you say, it's your work colleagues. What are you supposed to do? Ignore all your colleagues and like damage your relationship with people who, like you say, might have to come and help you out at some point? Nah, this is like a huge red flag for me. How to deal with her? I say cut her off, because this is a disaster waiting to happen 100%. And like the longer you let it go on, the worse the breakup is probably going to be, which makes it like a lot more awkward at work because you're still going to have to see this person. So honestly, I would just like as soon as you can and as nicely but firmly as you can, just like cut that shit out. No, I'm not there. Next one. How do you take a break from dating so that it actually matters? I don't understand your question, babe. So approaching the new year, I've been reflecting on significant changes I want to make. For context, OP is a 25-year-old male. My past 5-year relationship, which unexpectedly to me ended almost a year ago, has been a catalyst for deep reflection. Despite the love I had for her, the breakup opened my eyes to the fact that I allowed myself to be mistreated for a long time, and I have some deep wounds. This is not to put the blame solely on her. I participated in creating such a dynamic between us. This past year, I've immersed myself in healing, therapy, the gym, new hobbies, travel, and an expanded social life. Life has significantly improved, but dating remains a serious, soul-crushing struggle. Despite progress around my self-esteem in social settings, dating induces anxiety, leading to self-sabotage. Acknowledging my tendency to attach quickly and obsess over the smallest amount of attention I misread as interest, and the ensuing emotional self-battery, I've decided not to date at all in 2024. The goal is to break free from external validation and build a healthier foundation for future relationships in 2025 and beyond. That sounds very mature to me. I'm already in therapy, so I'm reaching out for advice on specific actions and conversation prompts to enrich this journey. Your insights and suggestions are invaluable. Eager to read your responses. I was with you until the end, actually. So it sounds as if, right, you done been through this relationship that actually was not good for you, but nonetheless, you were kind of like taken aback by the relationship breaking up. This was already a year ago. You've been working on yourself a lot. And since you still have a lot of emotions that come up around dating, you've decided, okay, in 2024, I'm just going to have me time. I'm not going to try and date anybody else. I'm going to focus on myself. And so that, hopefully I'm not going to be running to pick up every crumb of attention I get from someone, because I'm giving myself all the attention that I need. That sounds very good, very mature, very healthy. But then reaching out for specific advice on actions and conversation prompts to enrich this journey. What does that mean? I don't understand what you're like. The action would be don't date people, don't flirt with people, don't date with people, don't get involved with people in like a romantic relationship, dating type sense. And then conversation prompts. Conversations with who? Like, if you're not dating, who are you expecting to be talking with about this? Conversations with yourself? I'm genuinely confused about this, because it seems as if like what you're doing is essentially like you're trying to, like, as I say, get everything you need from yourself instead of from another person, which is fucking great. But then, so why do you need specific actions and conversation prompts for that? Let me take a look at some of the comments, because I genuinely don't understand this. Let me see. Sounds like you just need to heal and make some new women friends. Why women friends? But OP says, I feel like I've been healing for a while and I don't know how when this is supposed to reach an end point. Well, the journey never really ends, right? You wanna try and be continuously like healthy and happy within yourself. It's not like a destination that you just get to and everything's fine. Things happen in everybody's life where sometimes they're like feeling a bit more insecure or down or whatever the case may be. Do you know what I mean? I've tried to get into the dating game a few times, but it sends my nervous system into panic. So I feel like I should take a break. But then what if after another year everything is still the same? Well, it's not just about taking the break, it's about working on yourself. Don't think there's a set time limit. If it's exhausting you now, then it's probably best to take a short break. However, you'll never be 100% healed, nobody's perfect, etc, etc. A big part of it is being able to be okay with anxiety and uncertainty that comes with dating. This is true. So it seems as if there's kind of two things going on. One, there's like being that person for yourself, because I genuinely feel like you shouldn't expect other people to make you happy or fill some sort of hole in your life. You should be able to be happy with yourself and in your own company. I don't think it's, and probably a lot of people will disagree with me, but I don't think it's healthy to have that dependency on another person to make you happy and to make you feel whole. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand if you want to be in a relationship or if you want to like build a family or whatever, but I don't think that should be like the fucking be all and end all of your life, and if you don't have that person, your life is over. Do you know what I mean? So in that sense, I think that's like the first part, to like work on yourself and being okay with yourself, being comfortable and so on. And then the second part, like, because after a year, you're not just going to magically like not be anxious anymore around dating. You're not going to magically just be like better at flirting or whatever. So I agree with what this commenter has said in terms of like, part of it is just like practice and getting comfortable with that like anxiety or like the jitters, or to see it as more of like a positive thing, because like I've heard some people say like if they don't have butterflies, if they don't feel nervous for a date, then that's a bad sign, because it means that they're not that into that person, so yeah, I don't really know if that answers your question there, but yeah, I don't think just taking a break will actually do anything. You can't just sit on the sidelines for a while and then expect to get better at like basketball without practicing basketball. Do you know what I mean? You need to be doing something. You need to be doing some sort of training, working on your skills, etc, etc. And then one day you'll be ready to go back in the team, get in the game again. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I mean, you could also take like an analogy of like being in rehab, you know, like if you used to be this great basketball player, you got in this relationship which broke your leg, now you can't play basketball no more, but you're trying to still heal your leg and then learn how to walk again, learn how to run again, play with the ball, etc. You know, it's not, you can't just wait and not do anything, which maybe that's what you're asking for in terms of specific actions, but a lot of it is like, I mean, you can't just say like, oh, go to a class, or you can't just say like, read a book. Like, it's not really that simple, but you're already in therapy, so I definitely think that this is something to work on in therapy. You know, talk to your therapist about it and express that this is one of your goals, and then get some support from that person, especially based on like whatever your other baggage is, and get some support that's a bit more specific to your situation. Okay, cool. Is the difference in social class a big deal when it comes to dating? No, it's only a problem if you make it a problem. So OP is a 27-year-old female. I currently developed a deep friendship with a former office mate who is a 29-year-old male. He surprised me by visiting me yesterday at the province, which is a 4-hour bus ride from the main city. Prior to this, I confessed to him without any expectations or agenda that I started to like him more than a friend. He said he felt flattered, but that he wanted to strengthen our friendship first, which was fairly new, and then see what happens. I'm fine with it since I'm content with being single now and have other priorities to focus on, so I'm also not ready to take things further, but I admit I'm interested in him. Fair enough. Anyways, yesterday I toured him around and we had fun. It was a super chill and a fun-filled day. We went back to my apartment since he was only staying for one night. And after watching a movie, he started to bring up his insecurities and priorities at the moment. What surprised me was he brought up our difference in social classes. I hate to say it, but I'm from a more well-off family than he is. He said so himself. He said that it's something I need to consider about him because he doesn't want to drag me along, although he's independently living on his own. He still supports his parents, which I super understand. I was caught off guard and I felt bad. He did share that his priority right now is saving up and building his career. I also shared similar sentiments that I'm at a crossroads right now with my health and looking for a more stable job. I just feel a little sad that he feels that way, that our difference in social class could be a con if we do decide to take things further. This guy is really genuine and a gentleman. I don't feel that he's leading me on, and he did express that he appreciates me a lot. We both just want to continue establishing our friendship and see if anything deeper develops. I've been single for over 5 years and I'm not one to just easily like someone, blah, blah, blah. Is the difference in social class a big deal? No, it's not. It's not. Like I say, it's only a problem if you make it a problem. And this actually reminds me of a post that we read a while ago from the person's perspective that they were the one who had less money. And yeah, looking at their post and like the replies to the comments, it looked as if they just were super insecure about themselves and they wanted to make it an issue, almost as like as an excuse to not date that person. So yeah, I think that it sounds as if this person, was it a guy? Yeah. It sounds as if he's just insecure about his social or financial situation or whatever. Like, it's not anybody's fault if you're born into a family that has money or that doesn't have money. Do you know what I mean? That's just like, it's just one of these fucking things. Like, that's how privilege works. You know, privilege is something that you didn't do anything to have. It's just something that you've been granted, you know, like the country you were born in, you can't help that either, you know. So no, it doesn't make a difference. And what's kind of a shame is it seems like OP doesn't think it makes a difference, but this guy has kind of convinced them somehow or made them doubt in their mind that maybe it does make a difference. And it honestly doesn't. Like, it's only a problem if you make it a problem. Like I said in the last one, where we talked about something similar, like I could see it being an issue if, for example, the person with more money always wanted to go and do these activities that were really expensive and the other person couldn't afford it. I could see that causing a bit of friction, but that's just like, I would say money is a topic in almost every relationship, especially if you're like living together and sharing money. So it's just one of these things, like everything else, that you have to work through. And even if both of you weren't rich, it would still be a thing of sometimes you would want to do things that cost more money and maybe you'd have to save up for it. You know, it doesn't have to be super different. So, yeah. Next one. How can you be confident if you have no romantic experience? So I'm 21 and have never dated, kissed, held hands or had sex. I'm very far behind the curve and noticeably insecure about it from time to time. I'm the only one in this boat as far as I know, since all of my friends and peers are miles ahead and moved on to freakier shit, and it just makes me feel less cool than them, especially as a guy. How do you get these feelings to go away when trying to meet someone? I usually just get friend-zoned and lied about how I'm too good of a person for them and all that BS. Now I'm 21 and just feel really weird about myself and my body. That's the fucking key. You feel weird about yourself and your body. So it's not about like how much experience you've had necessarily. Like, I guess it can make you more comfortable in like dating situations if you've been through it before. And maybe you have like, because you have more experience, you're like, know how to handle different situations or new situations a little bit better if you have the experience. But just because you have a lot of experience doesn't mean that you're confident, and just because you don't have a lot of experience doesn't mean you shouldn't be confident. I think that this really comes down to how you feel about yourself, like similar in the Uber last one, with the person who wanted to take a break from dating. I think this is about how you feel about yourself as a person, about a potential partner, you know? I think that if you are confident in yourself as a person, and as I said before, like if you give yourself everything that you need, if you're happy in yourself, that comes across really much, you know? It's like people say, you know, that they're attracted to confidence, and it's not confidence necessarily in dating, it's confidence in themselves as a person. Do you know what I mean? Like, it really makes a difference. And I think that as superficial as people can be, I think also for a lot of people, like, your body situation isn't necessarily as important as like your mental situation. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're dating someone who is happy, confident and secure within themselves, then they're bringing in less insecurities and baggage into the relationship, which, you know, sets the sort of groundwork for that relationship to be a little bit healthier. But if someone is already like super insecure in themselves, super unsure, like doesn't know what they're doing in the dating world, but like doesn't know what they're doing with themselves as a person, then that's setting it up to be the opposite way around, where they're bringing all that baggage into the relationship, and then that can cause problems down the line. You know what I mean? So don't worry about not having that experience. Like, it'll happen when it happens. Yeah, it takes some people a little bit longer, and like I don't like it when people use these kind of phrases like they're further on than me, they're like, what is it they say, they're miles ahead and have moved on. Like, it's not a race, you know, it's not even some kind of journey that you can compare it to other people. Don't compare yourself to other people, honestly, that's just gonna fuck you up. And like, why should you follow the same path as another person? Do you know what I mean? Do what's right for you and what you're comfortable with. Just because other people are doing stuff, like a lot of the time people say they're doing stuff that they're not doing as well, like super childish, do you know what I mean? But even if they are, that's them and you're not them. And again, like, if you're trying to date someone and they can see that you're just trying to catch up to other people and be like other people, not so attractive, do you know what I mean? Like, just don't compare yourself to other people. Find yourself, be good within yourself, have confidence in yourself, and then the rest will follow. Okay? Good. Last one. My relationships never last long and I feel like it's my fault. How can I break this cycle? So OP is a 20-year-old female who says, I've been in 3 brief relationships. My first relationship only lasted 3 months because I found out he was living a double life and had a secret newborn child and a living girlfriend. How is that your fault? What? I feel like it's my fault. Like, how? I was 18 and my ex was 28. Yes, I know his age, and yes, that should have been a red flag to me, for sure. My next relationship was a year later. We dated for 6 months and my ex ended the relationship. 2 months later, he wanted me back, but I lost feelings. This past summer, I got into a deep relationship. Wait, but hold on, the second relationship, how is that one your fault? He's the one that ended the relationship, and then 2 months later you weren't into it anymore. How is that your fault either? This past summer, I got into a relationship and it only lasted about 3 months. I had to dump him because he became controlling. Again, not your fault. He told me I couldn't post a pic with my friends on the beach because I was wearing a full coverage one piece. What? Also became very verbally abusive, and he also tried to rush me into marriage because he wanted a green card. Fucking hell, how is that your fault, bitch? Oh my god. Sometimes I beat myself up and I look at myself as a failure because my relationships never last long. What the fuck? You're 20 years old. Calm down. Unless you were like fucking being with your high school sweetheart, I wouldn't expect you to be in a long-term relationship at 20 years old. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, sometimes I beat myself up. My sister's 23 and she's been with her girlfriend since they were 15. Exactly, high school fucking sweethearts. That's a totally different thing. My mum has been with my stepdad for years, and every time my family goes out, I feel like a third wheel. Yeah, but your mum is your mum. She's of fucking age. She's not 20 years old. So of course she's been with someone for longer because she's lived longer years. Not of course, but do you know what I mean? Like, it follows, doesn't it? I would love a relationship and to build and grow with someone, but every guy I meet doesn't want something serious, and I also don't want to date a man who's older. Are my short relationships my fault? No! Bitch! Absolutely 100% not your fault. Like, having a secret child and a girlfriend, not your fault. He broke up with you, not your fault. Being super controlling and using you for a green card, not your fault. Do you know, it's super like, it confuses me, and I'm going to be honest, it does annoy me when these people who are like super young, like in their early 20s, are like, oh, I'm giving up, like, it's never going to happen for me, like, what am I going to do, like, I'm such a failure. Like, you're so fucking young. You're so fucking young. Like, you have so much time to like build relationships and date people and experiment and all this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to rush into stuff. You don't need to feel as if, like, don't take on this societal pressure that by certain ages you have to have achieved certain things or like have certain things to show other people. Like, all that is just bullshit, you know? And I do, again, linking it back to the other ones, I do feel that if you're really confident in yourself, you know who you are as a person, and you're happy with yourself, regardless of anybody else, then these societal norms and stuff, you'll start to see how bullshit they are, and they'll start to matter to you a lot less because you know what the deal is inside yourself. Do you know what I mean? Oh my god. And I feel like this person must have a certain amount of insecurity as well if they're thinking that these short-term relationships are their fault for being short-term at the fucking grand old age of 20. My god. How can you break this cycle? I mean, calm the fuck down a bit, do you know? To be honest, I would say that being in 3 relationships already by the time that you're 20, to me, that's not a small number either. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, obviously you're putting yourself out there and stuff, but it seems as if you're being attracted to the wrong type of people. So maybe, you know, do a little bit of work on yourself and your own insecurities and the reason why you think that these are your fault. And then also, like, take it slower with people, you know, spend more time getting to know people before you actually say, okay, we're in a relationship now, as opposed to we're dating around and also seeing other people. Do you know what I mean? Because it seems as if, apart, with the exception of the guy in the middle, the second guy that you broke up after, what, like 6 months, and then 2 months later he changed his fucking mind, it sounds as if you're not going for the best kind of people, which again isn't necessarily your fault. But maybe spend a little bit more time getting to know the people, finding out more about their history and stuff like that, before you get into a relationship with them, just so that you can kind of like vet them a bit more and know more about what they're about. But yeah, I mean, you're only 20, this has only happened 3 times, and like I say, unless you're fucking high school sweethearts with someone, I would not expect you to be in a long-term relationship at this age. And like, I kind of feel a certain way about high school sweetheart relationships. I think I've talked about it before. I just think like everybody should have a period of time where they're alone so that they can like get to know who they are individually and not as a person who's attached to another person, that you have to, you know, take their feelings into account and have to, you know, compromise and stuff like that. I think it's important to have a relationship with yourself first before you have a relationship with someone else, you know? So how can you break the cycle? Calm the fuck down a bit, take it slower, and work on yourself. In a nice way. Not like work on yourself, but, you know, work on yourself. Okay? Cool. How did you find that today? I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you think that my advice is totally, like, not correct, and if you have any other opinions. You can check out some of my other videos if you so wish to. Thanks very much for watching. Happy holidays, and I will see you next time. Bye.